Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be setting up this awesome draconium sphere and getting power going to it. So, I hope you guys are ready. Guys, I want to say thank you to all those who decided to stop by yesterday during the live stream. I did post that link down in the comment section below. It is still there on last episode, so if you still want to find it out and click that follow button, so that way whenever I do go live next time, you guys can definitely be there. I would appreciate. But I do appreciate all you guys who stopped by. That was absolutely awesome having everybody there on the live stream over at Twitch. But anyways, let's talk about this build. So we did build this giant structure here in which the draconic sphere is going to go in the middle of. And we're going to get that set up today. We're going to set up the draconic sphere and we're going to have everything ready to go. But I do want to go ahead and get the color of everything changed first. And the way to do that is to probably use building gadgets. So we do have the building gadgets from Direwolf. So here we go. We have the destruction gadget, building gadget, copy and pasting gadget, which is a super powerful tool, and the exchanging tablet, which is what we are going to be using today. So underneath your options and controls, you're going to look under building gadgets. And under category, and this is going to pull up everything we need to see. Alright, so at first you may see a lot of different things, but some of these are going to be very specific to what we're going to be doing. We have change mode, which is under M. I'm going to set that to 2 on the numpad. A lot of these things we don't really need to worry too much about. The fuzzy I'm not worried about. The range overlay, I believe the range, this affects the range. I'm going to put that to 3. And then rotate or mirror, we don't need to worry about that because I think that's more towards the copy and paste tool. And the settings menu, we'll put that to numpad 1. And undo is U, that's fine. Right, okay. So when we have that, we should be able to open the menu by hitting 1. And you can see down here, we can increase the range directly from just the menu. That seems to be a new feature. Or we can upgrade the range by hitting that 3 button, which is the range button, and put that thing all the way up to 15 if we want. And the middle button, we'll worry about that here in a little bit. Alright, so yeah, pretty much the menu button, we can do whatever we want. So, I mean, technically we can put that anywhere. So, let's not do horizontal column mode. We'll do it to surface, because that's what we're going to be working with. So we're going to need the block that we're going to be transforming this all into. And I think for this texture, for the top section here, I think we should do some kind of stone. So when it comes to stone, what do we have that looks really good? I do like bordered stone. This stuff is really cool from extra utilities. It does have a really cool texture to it. So does cross stone. But bordered stone is way better looking. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, I need my time in a bottle. Make sure I don't throw that away. Alright, so let's go ahead and place this down. You can see this is what the bordered stone looks like by default. It kind of does this little pattern. And if you want to know what it looks like when you extend it out even further, it looks like that. So this is going to be a really cool texture. Let's go ahead and we'll shift right click on here. And you can see this is going to just swap the block. Well, we want to do more than that. We want to increase that range. So let's push this range as far as it'll go. 15. And then do it. Look how cool that is. That is such a cool animation. And right, we can go all the way out here. And it makes such a huge area. So doing this is definitely the way to go for exchanging. I don't know how big the biggest exchanger, like actual exchanger from the exchanger mod, does, but this one definitely is well worth it. Super cheap compared to the exchanger. So, got to give thumbs up to Direwolf. I always like to showcase this mod because, man, it is absolutely phenomenal. And it's so funny because, like, coming from Dire with the 9x9s to jumping into this mod, which is just a builder's, like, should be in a builder's tool set. That is so weird. I wonder why that won't let me do it. Oh, we're out of blocks. So yeah, we do need to make sure we maintain our block count and make sure we have enough blocks. But if you put Silk Touch on this, by the way, it'll give you stone back, so you wouldn't get cobblestone back. But in this case, it doesn't really matter. We just need to have a whole inventory full of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all changed up. I'm going to get the different colors on this, and I'm going to get it all decorated. And when we come back, we're going to work on that Draconic Sphere. All right, guys, don't freak out too much, but this is what I come up with. This, with the bottom and everything else, these luminous blocks are absolutely amazing. When you're not looking at them like directly, they do make the blocks look like they're rounded. That's because there's no shadow. And with there being no shadow, you can't tell where the edges are. So from just the side view, it looks kind of like a rounded shape. So I really do love this. And to incorporate it in this build, it just gives it so much pop. And then to have a giant sphere on the inside that is orange is going to be kind of awesome looking. So let's go ahead and get that done. First, we need to get rid of all of this other stuff that we have in our inventory. I did go ahead and make this awakened item dislocator. And also, I probably need to turn this on, open up my settings and go into my helmet and go into auto feed and turn that on. So that way I will auto feed myself. I do need to get some normal food though, like, I don't know, steak maybe. And just keep that in the corner somewhere. My helmet will auto feed me whenever I do get hungry. So as you can see, it just did it just now. So what I need to do is break this stuff down. We're going to actually create a special area in which we can, so that way we can put our power and such. Because right now, I don't really, I don't want it here. I want it somewhere totally different. All right, and then this is going to be a bit messy. I think at this point, we don't really need these guys anymore. We don't need this anymore, or the builder. So we should be pretty good. Our channels will stay. The channels won't go anywhere, so we don't have to worry about those. When we go to recreate them later on, it'll be just perfect, and we won't have to worry about nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and get all of this stuff put away. And let's just get started on Draconic Evolution. So, Draconic Evolution, we're going to need several different things. We're going to need one, an energy core. We're going to need some of the energy core stabilizers. Just one stack will be just fine. And then we're going to need a couple pylons. Only need two of those. And that should be about it. We'll get the Awakened Draconium and Draconium here in a little bit. But it's kind of interesting, just in episode 2, immediately jumping to this point. Now, I do want to go ahead and break these. Because I do want these sort of recessed down. And what I'm going to do is actually dig this out. You can see how weird this block interacts with the other textures. It's so weird how it works, but I mean, it gets the job done, and that's all that really matters. So I'm going to place this down. So yeah, I'm just basically taking this down one block, and this will add some light. There we go. And then I need to do the same thing to the top. I think that these will be far enough away that they won't cause any issues. So there we go. In order to get your pick this fast, by the way, you need to have it charged up. That's why it's working as fast as it is. So there we go. Awesome. And of course, these are going to light this up. Now, a lot of people don't actually create their Draconic Evolution core like I'm doing right now, where you do have one column going vertically. Normally, they just, keep to the same old, and have it going in 4 directions this way. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have this one going vertically, and then this one over here is actually going to be the column. But I do need to kind of see exactly where this is located at. So we know where this is at, and it is in 1. So this is located here, which means it is going to be back 1. In here. And we'll change this texture. We'll change the texture later on. Because right now, it's just going to set right there. And I think I'm going to have a column here that is going to make that look a lot cooler. So, get some cobblestone. Doesn't really matter. I wish there was a better way of searching through here. It's probably best to have the other tablet for that case. Yeah, just looking through here and hoping you grab the right cobblestone. So yeah, back one. And there we go. And we'll get this one set up. Now, I am going to warn you, this is probably going to be a bit loud here in a little bit whenever we get these blocks placed. But, let's go and get some draconium. I need to find the middle. And so to do that, we need to pull all the way out to the middle. I hope this isn't too far out. That's my one hope, is that it's not too far and that these will reach. So, that should be perfect, which means we can place the core right here. And it should recognize the stabilizers. Stabilizers are invalid. Core invalid. Build up. Sorry, it's tier up. There we go. It recognized the stabilizers. Perfect. Core is invalid because we don't have the proper things yet. But all we have to do is, well, I'm going to actually break this. And break this. And like I said, this is a fair warning. This may jump scare just a little bit. We're going to fill our inventory with draconium and awakened. And this actually does work. If you whack this with your bottle and then assemble core, it builds it that fast. Yeah. A lot faster than this, as if I wouldn't have used the time in the bottle. This thing builds so fast, it's quite unbelievable. All right, so the only thing left to do, well, is to activate this thing. And how awesome is this? This is super, super cool. Super cool. Now, the pylons, I actually want them to be in these top upper corners. And we should have just the perfect area to place this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will place them here. And then I'll place the other one over here. See, 1, 2, 3. We'll place it right here. Perfect. And then inside this will be where our plugs go. So our plugs will go back in here. And this thing is going to look awesome. Now, when it comes to plugs, right now we don't really have much power going on. So we'll do our plug and point, because that's all you need to get started to set up your network. We want a point to be inserting power into our system. So let's take our point, place it in here, and we're going to set this to our input network. And I am going to go ahead and edit and change the color of this to our green color, because I do like the input to be green. It keeps me from being confused. And then we could go ahead and place our pylon here. Perfect. So the input pylon is almost ready to go. Now we're going to create the network for our output, which is what is going to power everything, which needs to be a plug. We'll create a new network. And we'll set this one to red, because it is pulling, it's going to subtract power from our network. There we go. We'll create that, select it, and be sure to make sure that it has an unlimited transfer rate, which isn't exactly unlimited, as we found out in this pack. All right, so once these are set, let's go ahead and get our glass. And I almost wonder if this works with any glass, but finding your glass in here can be quite difficult. So we'll place that. This one needs to be clicked on. It's going to change that to the output. And that's perfect. And then over here, we're going to leave this one. This one is now connected, and that's input. So on each of these corners here, we have power going in, storing in the buffer, and when power is needed, it's going to be pulled out through this one. Perfect. That is our power network. Now, I was talking earlier about how we're going to get power to move around and where we're going to actually get our power to store at. I want to do this in a separate dimension. I want our power to be out of the way and in a separate dimension. And a good way to do that, which I did in the live stream, which was super awesome because I found out it actually works, is to load up a spectral dimension. And not many people are probably going to know about this dimension because they may not know how random things works. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves at least in our case, because normally you'd kill mobs and there would be these little spirits floating around, and you'd hit those with potions of harming. That's how you would normally get them, and that would get you some ectoplasm. Well, for us, we have access to the spectral leaves, which is even better, because what we can do with these is place them down in any pattern and just create a bunch of them. And I mean a bunch. And we'll just build a giant tower of them. Right? Is that all? That's all of them. And then just punch them with our fist. And that's going to get us a bunch of ectoplasm and also get us some of the saplings, which the saplings we don't need. Those are actually EMCable. Those normally generate those trees, but we have access to the leaves, and that's the important part. Awesome. So now that we have the ectoplasm, which means we can now get into random things and work our way to making a spectral key. So we're going to need to take this ectoplasm and make ourselves some ingots, and then make ourselves the key. Now, it does automatically pull the ectoplasm. I don't know why. Some of the crafting things are a little wonky in this crafting grid, but we're going to get it figured out. So we got the key. Everything is ready to go. I do only want 9 of these ectoplasm. I don't want to build any more, so I'm going to throw the rest away. If I need more later on, I can always make more, but I don't want it clogging up my inventory. Awesome. So now we have our key. What we need to do with this is right-click and hold for 5 seconds. And that's going to pull us into a totally different dimension. Just like that. Super cool. So it might take a second for the dimension to load up. And here we are. This is the spectral dimension. It may not look very good at first. Let's go ahead and clear off some of these. These do spawn in here for some reason. I don't exactly know why. I mean, maybe it's just the way the world generates and these spawn in here. But they're actually above as well, which is kind of weird. When we open this up, you'll see. But right now we're at Y level 1. We're at Y level 1. So if I take 9 of these, the more you have, the higher this will go. You can take this all the way up to build height. And you just need all the ectoplasm to do that. This is 1 chunk. And when we hit this with 9, it's going to raise it by 9. And I think that is way better looking. But keep in mind, this is a chunk, so this is a 2x2 room. It's 16 by 16, which means this is a block, this is a block. And this is kind of your only point of reference, because when you're looking down here, you can't really see where your point of reference is. It's kind of weird, but once you get some blocks in here, you'll start to understand and be able to see more. Speaking of blocks, let's go ahead and get ourselves the petrified fuel generator. I'm going to go ahead and make a few of them, because this is going to be our first source of power. And you can see, this is where I was meaning our source, we can't really see where our source is. But I'm kind of going to repeat the same thing that I did in my live stream, because I really liked that design, and I want to translate it over here to show you guys. So this right here is kind of what I'm working with. We're going to set up some generators. I'm going to get them all lined up. It doesn't really matter which direction they're facing, just as long as we have them in each corner. Just like so. Perfect. And I'm going to keep doing that for each side until we get this all done. So now that I have the petrified fuel generators all in here in each corner, and I went ahead and put them in the corner because it just doesn't work out if you put them anywhere else. Simply because of, like I said, this being a 16 by 16 room. But what we can do with this is go ahead and get ourselves some plugs, or not plugs, flat transfer nodes. And we'll go ahead and grab a stack of those. And what you need to do is hold Control while placing these, and that will invert the way that they're being placed. So we'll just kind of get some of those done. Make sure you're holding Control. And this dimension is not going to be very useful to you if you're not playing in single player, because a lot of servers don't really allow you to chunk load, but honestly, this is one dimension that would be really nice to be able to chunk load, because it is only 1 chunk, which means chunk loading is super efficient. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and get ourselves the EMC links. Perfect. And we'll place those bad boys down, and then of course, you know what we're going to go after. we're going to go after some Project E fuel. Some Eternalist fuel, because that's going to bump this bad boy. We're going to be generating a lot of power. We're also going to be losing a lot of EMC, but that's only temporary. Of course, we're gaining more EMC. It's just our EMC production in the overworld is not chunk loaded. So there we go. Place that last one down, and that should be filling these guys slowly but surely with power. And we need to do one more thing, and that is make sure this is selected and chunk loaded. And now our power should be maintaining and generating whenever we head back to the overworld. And we can always come back here and add more power. I think this is where our main power room is going to be. And so this is where we're probably going to be producing a lot of our power. Not all of it, because of course the TARDIS does produce the most. But we will be producing a very significant amount here. And all you got to do to go back, you can either right-click here, or you can take your Spectral key and you can right-click it again. If you right-click the center, it also works the same way. So if you right-click here, it'll take you back to where you were at. Looky there. And yeah, pretty awesome. So I hope you guys, today was sort of a shorter episode, which is perfectly fine. I had to go somewhere today. So unfortunately I didn't have time to spend too much on this episode, but we did get a lot done. I'm not going to lie, a lot of stuff got done. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you guys know what to do. Not over past my front face. But anyways, you guys know what to do. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And also give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. I really appreciate it. You guys are absolutely amazing. I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.